now we're sitting down 875 points.
We've now broken Dow 10,000.
The Dow Jones Industrial Average dropped more than 900 points.
The market didn't work. It broke down. The machines broke down.
Fear came back into the market in
one of the watershed days in financial markets history.
It was a manic Monday in the financial markets. The Dow tumbled more than 500 points after two pillars of the street tumbled over the weekend. Lehman Brothers, a 158-year-old firm, filed for bankruptcy.
I don't think anyone really expected a bank as big as Lehman to be in a position that it's in now.
Brought down by bad mortgage investments, Lehman, which has 25,000 employees, will be liquidated.
I'm starting to find another job.
Meanwhile, Merrill Lynch, fearing it could be next, agreed in an act of desperation to a shotgun marriage with Bank of America. Merrill, the country's biggest brokerage with 60,000 employees, had been battered by nearly $50 billion in mortgage-related losses.
It is definitely a very, very difficult time, and it's not going to get better quickly.
So in just 6 months, 3 of the 5 biggest independent firms on Wall Street have now disappeared. Bear Stearns, which collapsed last spring, Lehman Brothers, and Merrill Lynch. Treasury Secretary Henry Paulson tried to reassure investors today.
The American people can remain confident in the soundness and the resilience of our financial system.
Paulson attempted to broker a deal to sell Lehman over the weekend, but unlike the buyout deal for Bear Stearns, the government would not offer any financial guarantees.
I never once considered that it was appropriate to put taxpayer money on the line in resolving Lehman Brothers.
It would have required an $85 billion subsidy to keep afloat. Overall, I estimate it's going to cost at least $400 billion if you wanted to bail out the whole bunch. They're certainly not worth it. It's better to let them fail.
Insurance giant AIG is the next name on the list of troubled companies. It's looking for $40 billion in bridge loans.
Some people say this doesn't stop until the housing hits bottom. You think that's true?
I think that's probably correct.
Veteran trader Art Cashin believes there could be more casualties.
This is the 5th time we've seen this movie. And you sit on the edge of your seat and you yell at whichever character it is, don't go into that woodshed. But they keep going in.
Lehman Brothers is going bankrupt, and financial markets from Asia to Europe are doing their utmost to prevent Monday from turning from dark to black. Employees of America's 4th largest investment bank saw the writing on the wall late Sunday after talks to pull them back from the abyss collapsed. British firm Barclays Bank said no thanks, while Bank of America decided instead to help another struggling bank, Merrill Lynch, in a merger deal worth over $50 billion. The U.S. government said it won't bail out Lehman, which last week announced more than $3.9 billion in losses. Shares in Lehman Brothers have plummeted more than 80% in 2008 alone.
Lehman, like so many other investment banks and banks, really got, quite frankly, caught up in the housing bubble. But like every bubble, the bubble ended, and now we're seeing the downside of that bubble.
Following the same risky practices that sunk former giants Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, Lehman also had a hand in securing America's high-risk subprime mortgages, believing that the popularity and sheer volume of those loans would net huge gains. But it didn't. Borrowers saturated the U.S. housing market, taking on enormous mortgages in spite of poor credit history. As the economy cooled, Americans found themselves with less cash to spend. Higher fuel prices did not help. The result was that more Americans began missing their monthly mortgage payments. As Lehman Brothers secured many of those mortgages, the result was more than $60 billion in losses. Lehman Brothers now go to court, where a judge will take control of the bank until its assets are sold. The implications could be profound. Meanwhile, as markets everywhere react, the bottom to America's financial woes appear nowhere in sight. 10 of the world's biggest banks have set up a $70 billion emergency fund to help stabilize the market, and they may need it. Reports that American insurance giant AIG is also seeking a U.S. government bailout will only compound Lehman's fallout. Monday will be a difficult day to face for Lehman's thousands of shareholders and more than 25,000 employees. Many had hoped this day would never come.